Hey guys, thanks for checking out my video. It's time for the week 1 update on the Frostblades Warden. I made it to level 97, and here's what I'm going to go over in this video. A lot of stuff I want to talk about. I'll try to make it quick. Atlas completion. I finished the entire Atlas. I got 115 done. The only thing I haven't done is the Feared and the Hidden because I haven't done any breach farming yet. I did complete the first tier 17 I tried. I did it without even dying at all. I have some more. I haven't ran the other ones, but I just did Fortress. It was so easy compared to last league. What else? Atlas strategies. What I've been doing is destructive play on one tree for farming Maven invitations, another tree for Eater altars with Legion and Abyss. I did this one for some XP, and then I did it for Legion to get my Lethal Pride, which I got. And then my other tree, I'm doing Exarch with Betrayal, Essence, and Harvest. Always Harvest Juice. You can never have enough of that. And then Betrayal Safe House is a good XP. So that's what I'm doing on my Atlas. For my passive tree, not a whole lot has changed. In the last 2 levels, I just pretty much took these 2 life nodes, get my life up a little bit higher, especially since I finally got a Taming, so my life dropped a little bit from losing the life on that ring. Let's see, my gear. I got a Taming. I got a Lethal Pride. My Lethal Pride's not very good. I haven't re-rolled it or anything. This is just the first one I got. I got Endurance Charge on kill, and I got like 2 reduced damage from crits nodes, and then like 1 crit chance and like 1 melee damage, I think. Right there, and that's pretty much it. 2 melee damage, no double damage, no multi, so it could be a lot better. It's just fixing the strength pretty much. And then I got a 6 link. I dropped this Supreme Leather from an incubator, so I got lucky on that. And I crafted this with the Harvest Bench, doing Reforged Chaos, and I hit the Suppression. I was just looking for the Suppression and the Chaos Res, and then I hit decent evasion prefixes, so this was a pretty nice win. And then got the Taming on. I'm using Fury Valve. If you're doing mapping, guys, Fury Valve is the best amulet there is. Nothing even comes close. This will almost double your clear speed. It's absolutely insane how far your projectiles will go. Use Fury Valve for mapping, guys. Just use it as a swap, even if you're just mapping. Swap something else in if you're doing a boss, but use this for mapping. It's too good. And then let's see, gloves are the same. I got the Pierce Implicit there. This ring I think is new. I just made this for more Chaos Res. My Chaos Res is up to 66% now. Which is feeling really good. Shield's the same, boots are the same, they're both kind of bad. Belt is, I think, the same. This belt's okay. I need one with more life. I have a Fizz Claw now, which has no crit on it. It's not very good. I definitely want a better one. I'm using this crappy placeholder helmet until I can get a Heat Shiver. And the flasks are the same. I just have Evasion, Stun Avoidance, and Crit. And then Attack Speed, Prismatic Tincture. And then no jewels on the tree except for the Lethal Pride. Guess that's about it for the gear. What else? Gems. There's some gems in the build that are optional. Okay, guys, you don't have to. The gems are very flexible. I'm using a VLS setup with VLS rage support, which is nice to give you like a damage cooldown when you use your VLS, and then returning proj for more shock stacking. And then I just threw more duration on here to make it last longer, keep the rage up time a little bit longer, keep the shock stacks up a little bit longer. This is just a nice damage cooldown setup, but this entire 4-link is completely optional. And then I got Steel Skin on the build now since I got my Lethal Pride for the strength. This is optional too. You don't have to use this. Faster attacks is optional. You can swap this out with Culling Strike if you want. All those gems are optional. And then the rest of the gems are pretty much mandatory. The auras, the mark on hit setup, the faster attack, or the Whirling Blades, the Frost Bomb, Frost Blink, Bone Chill. But there's some flexibility with those gems. Enchantment choices. I'm using just a cold one because those are the only runes that I had. I think a cold, a Fizz damage, or an attack speed enchant are all good choices. The only other wildcard one is the Ellie weakness curse one, but there's some implications that go along with that. Chiefly, you need to have +1 curse somewhere if you're going to use that, and I'm not sure yet if it's going to be worth it to anoint Whispers of Doom just to get this Ellie weakness curse, because it's going to be a low level curse and it's not going to be super effective. So going into the anoint choices, I just anointed high voltage on my Fury Valve because I'm like super oil starved, and this is just nice crit. But Divine Judgment is also another cheap good anoint. And then for the min-max endgame anoint, I think depending on which ascendancy you choose, there's some good options. There's Shock Uptime. You can anoint for Rage Uptime with Veteran's Wrath, or you can anoint Whispers of Doom if you go double curse. These are all good choices, I think. I still haven't quite like theory crafted out which one is exactly the best min-max end game choice. There's going to be some flexibility there, so don't be too dead set on having one exact anoint. It's not like before when Panopticon just blew everything else out of the water. There's some flexibility with the Anoint choice now. All right, map showcase. I'm going to run this Minotaur here, and I want to highlight the use of the shock stacking and the VLS on the boss, because I'm going to talk about shock versus tincture after this. So let's run this map real quick. I'm just going to do destructive play Maven. Show you guys what the build's looking like. Clear speed is amazing. Boss damage is really good now. Crit resistant rare. Skip that Harbinger because they take forever. So when you come across the Essence, what you can do is just drop VLS on top of it, let the returning prod start stacking up, and then when you pop it, it's going to die almost instantly. Oh, we died. Wow. That doesn't happen very often actually when I'm mapping. I'm not sure what that was. Oh well, it happens. But yeah, I went to powerful minions, extra fire damage. I leveled from 96 to 97, the entire level without dying at all once I just started mapping basically. So yeah, deaths like that are actually quite rare for me. I know people complain a lot about the build being squishy, but you know, it does happen sometimes. What can I say? I'll skip the shrine. Skip this shrine too. We'll pick up the map though. And when I get to the boss, I'm going to pop my avatar and my VLS, and I want you guys to take note of the shock stacks on this Minotaur. Okay, here he comes. Okay, I'm popping my avatar, VLS's, and now we watch the shock ramp up 50, 70, 90, 98, 100. You see that? And he's dead. So, and look at how long the VLS is lasting. The VLS just now finished. So you could keep those shock stacks up for a solid 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds maybe. You know, after you drop the VLSs. So the shock ascendancy is very, very powerful, and that's what I wanted to highlight there. And so the next thing I want to talk about was the tincture versus shock. People are asking me constantly, what about the tincture node? What about this tincture node? Okay. I want to show you guys something in POB about shock. Okay. If you don't have any lightning damage, or you know, a very minimum lightning damage like we do, like with just one roll, all I have is this on my ring right here, you're going to get like no shocks without this node. But if you go to POB, and I turned off my tincture right here, and just look at my damage here. It's just 4 million, okay? Now with no shock, okay, this is with like one stack of shock. This is what your shock's going to look like without that node. It's going to do like almost nothing, right? Well, most of that damage is coming from Taming. That big damage jump is the damage from Taming, having shock on. But if you get up to like a bare minimum of 15 stacks of shock, which you're going to do, because look, my attack rate is 705, right? I'm just going to do this math real quick. My shock duration is 2.6, okay? 705 times 2.6 duration, that's 18 stacks of shock, okay? Now, each stack is 2%, so that's 36% shock. You're going to have that up all the time, basically, 36% shock, okay? Now, if I put on the tincture that I have, which it's not the best tincture, I'll admit that, but this one right here, it's just attack speed and damage. It's 21% more damage, right? It makes my damage go up to 5.1 million from 4. Okay, now I know you can get better tinctures than this that can do almost double as much damage as this, but just for the sake of argument here, look how much shock stacks I have to get to that 5.1 million. Okay, there it is, 5.1 million. It's only 16 stacks of shock. 16 stacks of shock is equivalent to the tincture that I have, and I'm going to have more than that up just with my frost blades alone. That's not even factoring in the shock stacks from VLS. You pop VLS, you get to 50 stacks, and look at that. It's insane damage. Okay, and VLS has very good uptime, as you can see. And if you put rage on it, that 30 rage, that's another 30% more damage on top of this. So I'm a big fan of the shock node. I think this is extremely strong. I don't particularly like tincture management. My brain has been muscle memoried into using flasks for 5 years, and changing that all to press tinctures is hard for me to learn. I'm still practicing it, but if you guys like tinctures, you know, go for it by all means. But I think the shock node is extremely strong, and I'm going to stick with it probably for a while. So yeah, what else? Another thing about tinctures, when you're attacking a boss that moves or teleports or phases, or you kill a rare or whatever, and you attack the air, like you're fighting something and it dies, and then you keep attacking for 1 or 2 more hits, your mana is going to drain down to nothing when you use your frost blades, and then that's going to, if your tincture's on, that's going to make your mana drop to 0 like way faster. So that's another thing you have to kind of consider when using your tincture. You got to try to be really careful not to like hit the air, because then it's going to make your mana go to nothing and make your tincture turn off. VLS options. I'm using rage support, like I said. Returning proj, I think these two are very strong. The 4th gem is kind of flexible. You can put something else in here. You can use Culling Strike. You can just take this out entirely and put in another gem somewhere else. But this is a nice 4-link for VLS, I think. Claw priorities. People are asking me constantly, what about this claw? What about this claw? Here's what you need on a claw, guys. Fizz, cold prefixes, attack speed, crit, suffixes. That's it. Okay? Fire damage is bad. Lightning damage is bad. Anything else is less than ideal, okay? Anything else is bad. Fizz, cold, attack speed, crit. That's what you want. And then if you can get a 3rd suffix, crit multi is really good. Double damage is really good. But that's it. You want pure fizz and cold with attack speed and crit. That's what your claw should be, okay? Anything else is not good. All right? Lethal pride priorities. You need a lethal pride just to fix your strength, but besides fixing the strength, if you can get rage on hit, that's amazing, because it'll help you sustain your rage, especially if you use rage on VLS or if you anoint it. And then besides that, you just want damage. DD, multi, melee damage, those 3 are all amazing. Intimidate is good. Crit chance if you need it. Any of those are good. So here's what I'm going to do next on my character. I'm going to get accuracy on my gloves, ideally. Once I get that accuracy, I'm going to drop this wheel right here. I need this wheel to accuracy cap because I have no accuracy on my gear. But once I get it, I'll drop that. And then +2 strikes on my gloves. Once I'm able to get that, I can drop this whole wheel right here. That's 5 points. And once I do that, I'll probably switch to a cluster jewel, and I'll drop these points here and these points here. And that'll give me the points to put in the cluster. And then I'll get a better lethal pride, which is just going to make me divine it, I guess, until I get something good. And then hopefully I can drop a heat shaver soon. For defenses, I know I died in that showcase, which is, what can I say? It does happen sometimes, but most of the time, 99% of the time, you don't die when you're mapping if you just play properly. And play style is the key. I'm going to link a video down in the description where I talk about defenses and all the things you need that will help you stay alive while you're mapping. Okay, so watch that video if you have questions about survivability. And then that's about it for this update, I think. I'm going to start doing bingo again on stream, where we do POB reviews and we turn it into like a roast game. It's kind of fun. So come by the stream, check it out. And yeah, I think that's it for this one. So click on the subscribe button, like the video, follow the stream, twitch.tv/ShishPoE. And thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.